Property Investing Insights, your authority on all things property investing, finance and wealth creation with Right Property Group.
Hello and welcome to Property Investing Insights Client Stories, and today I have the pleasure of welcoming Shahin and Salvia Benham. Long-term clients, they sat down with us in 2013 and an interesting journey, new migrants to the country, and they had a dream and the dream became reality. Still a portfolio in progress, but this is what 10 years in property investing gets you if you're focused and if you are with a solid dream, with a good dream to be able to achieve your financial results. Now, I want to explore today the journey, the decision-making processes and the trials and tribulations of building a portfolio and what a decade does for you. So, Shahin and Salvia, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So we can obviously tell from the name that you're migrants. Where are we from?
We are Iranian, Persians. We came to Australia 2010
right.
as skilled migrants. Both of us have engineering background.
We won't hold it against you.
And yeah, when I arrived here, it was about just the end of the GFC. There was some issues with finding the job.
Yes.
But I think I was lucky to find the job very quickly.
Yeah.
Salvia, took you a few months before you find your first job.
Yeah. So you didn't actually come to a job, you migrated and you were hunting for a job over here?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So those days. So remember, even I had some advices that there's not going to be any job here, go to a university. Actually, I was going to UNSW to get a master's degree at the time till I find a job. But I was lucky actually, the first month at the uni, I found a job.
Yes.
And so that we could actually start.
So did you end up doing the master's course, or you never ended up doing the
No,
master's?
I finished that.
Yes.
I managed to finish it. The first year obviously was very hard, but then as I settled at my workplace and I could do it online, so it took me about 2.5 years to finish my master.
Yep.
And but yeah, I managed to finish it.
Yeah, and you're mentioning offline, both of you, that you're newly married when you came here, and then you had a from memory, less than $10,000 to get started?
Yeah, to be honest, once we came to Australia, it was 1.5 years that we married, even less than that. And then we came to Australia with around the same money that you mentioned. And we started from scratch. Once Shahin came to Australia 6-7 months before me. Once I came to Australia, because of English barrier, I had to start learn English, going to TAFE, and long journey to go back to the work. And then I believe that after 10-11 months, I could find my first job, and then we started. From the background and family culture that we had always, we were just thinking paying for rent is wasting money. That's why from the first day, always we were just thinking to buy the property, our own property. But as we didn't have anyone here to direct us, we bought our first property as a unit, 2-bedroom unit in North Shore, Waitara. And then and then we started from there.
So buying the unit, obviously, was that off the plan, or was it an established unit? What was it?
It was established.
Established unit. Okay.
So we wanted to buy a property and go and live there. So no paying for rent, just paying our just mortgage. So
Fantastic.
it was the aim.
So that became then the launch pad towards bigger and better things. Just to give perspective to the listeners, how many properties have we bought, including the ones that we've sold, over this journey?
So overall, I think we did about 11 so far with the place of residence. We sold actually 2. We bought 2 new. So I think we are 11, and And one of them actually we're building a granny flat now as well. So.
Which makes it a dozen.
Yeah.
So do you go to parties and say, "Oh, I've got a dozen properties"? Being migrants, right? So obviously, when we come into the country, we've got aspirations to make life better. Were you mixing around with your fellow countrymen in terms of thought processes of investing, or were you trailblazers and found your own way?
Sorry, I didn't get a question quite.
Yeah. So when you were initially starting, were you talking to your fellow your friends, your colleagues in terms of investing, or did you have to learn your own way?
No, actually, we learned it our own way. So I think currently there are many people following us. Yes. Salvia has a very good network and very generously shares her knowledge always with everyone, better than me.
She's the more patient person.
But no, those days, so still actually we have to, some of the friends that we have, and we need to convince them that this is a way, so that with property investment, these are the things that, these are the steps, these are the things that you need to look into. But we didn't have anyone, I would say. You guys were the first sort of organization, first teachers and mentors that we had. Which we are very grateful for.
Thank you. And we sat down together in 2013, right? And I want to circle back to one of your comments in terms of you talking to your friends and family, but some of them are very hard to teach or coach, right? And Reshmi, my beautiful wife, and I were having the same discussion over the weekend where there's so many friends and family that see what we do, they've seen our results, they've seen how we've started right from the bottom and then climbed up the property ladder, yet they want to reinvent the wheel because, of course, they want to keep their financial details secret. And the thought process we've had is that we don't know what brags they've had told us about their finances, so that makes it difficult. Plus, obviously, they're seeing you in a different light, right? Whereas someone from the outside looking in, they do actually see the success. Do you see yourselves as successful in property?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm really proud of ourselves, especially like we have 3 kids now.
Yes.
So my Hannah, her elder one, she born 2013, exactly the time that we started with Right Property for our first investment property. So and then to be honest, our aim was to build a life for our kids and security for our kids for future. And then we had our twins in 3 years, and then we went through this journey stronger than before to make sure that we can build our portfolio in the way that we can support our kids in future. Because as we mentioned that we were first generation of migrant in Australia from our family. Once we started, we didn't have any friends, any mentor in Australia to teach us. Once we had a chat with Ricardo, one of our really good friend, which is your client, and he introduced you to us, and we were so lucky that we just come to this journey and started with you. And people are seeing our success, and we will share with them. I share with them all the all the things that we learn, and we introduce Right Property to lots of our friends, family, and that's it. To be honest, we see ourselves as a success and proud.
You mentioned the name of Ricardo. I'm always grateful of him.
With
not keeping the information with himself, because even you see in the circle of friends, there are people that they have some knowledge and they don't share it.
True.
But he was just, at the time, a colleague of mine, but he was really transparently told what is happening to him and introduced us to you guys at the time.
So Ricardo, if you're listening, I won't tell them that I paid you lots of money to say nice things about me. So let's talk about the first purchase. But before that, right, so let's talk about decision-making process. Now, obviously, when you sat down with us, there would have been some fears, there would have been some aspirations. How did we go through the journey? What were the fears that you initially faced before you actually got started?
We didn't know anything, so it's just a fear of unseen. So we didn't know. There was not a way that someone else that we knew has gone before. So we had to just try and error. But yeah, luckily both of us can take that risk. I always believe that fears doesn't prevent your death, but prevents your life.
Yes.
So
that's a good way of putting it.
So we had that sort of a mentality, but at the end of the day, there was fear. So that because the money that we had, for example, the money that we started, that we used to start all this journey, was a top up that we had for that unit that Salvia said that we purchased, and that was all we had at the time. And people were saying at the time, you go and find a property yourself if you want. Why you go to the buyer agents? There were so many things they want to review all of that.
Yes.
So, but we had to. So there was some logics because I was coming to your seminars at the time. So I was getting some information. Salvia was also joining. We were going. We had some discussions about it. But then at the end of the day, we realized that what you guys are talking about is real, actually. There are some people that successfully has gone through this journey. And so we saw within ourselves that, yes, we can do that as well. And so then,
so you started working as a team rather than one person.
Absolutely.
So we because we had limited deposits, we started small. And we were just talking offline that we went pretty hard in 2014, right? And we bought a few properties.
Absolutely.
The first of which was actually a unit.
Townhouse.
Townhouse, yes, in Woodridge, from memory.
Yes,
was it?
yes.
And well, we were also just talking that we just simply can't buy something like that in today's market anymore. Which from memory we talking about 171k purchase. For something that really the rent was almost covering the mortgage, right? So it made it fairly easy to progress. But this was, again, we added another complication in there because this was not in New South Wales. We're sitting here in New South Wales, and you have always been in New South Wales. So we've actually bought the unit in Queensland, right? So how did you manage that process? And more importantly, did you visit the property at the time of buying it?
No, to be honest, it was our first challenge, and we haven't seen the property. And
to date?
No, that time we haven't seen the property, but it was really difficult for us to decide and buy a property without seeing. And always, I was just thinking we have to have an emotional attached to the property. The things that we learn here is for the investment property, you shouldn't have any emotional attached to the property. Once we saw the photos and video that Steve shared with us, I told Shahin, who's gonna go and live there? Because the property was, to me, it was, it was livable, but it was not my type.
But compared to where you were living in the unit, it was chalk and cheese, right?
And then we put a lots of challenge, and we had a lots of discussion with Stephen Wright Properties. Just no, we cannot rent it out. And then we learned that you don't need to have emotional attached to the property, your investment property. And then, so we decided at the end to buy the property with just seeing the photos and trust the right property. Anyway, we bought the property, and it was really good purchase, to be honest. And then after that, I believe that we bought in the same year 2 more property as a townhouse in Woodridge again.
That was a... Having said that, later on, there was some challenges for us with that property because we had to wait a long time. And there was, in that process, as you were questioning, there was some times that we were asking ourselves, did we make a good
there was some
choice? And because, let's say, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years on the track, because there was an area new developed in that area that impacting the whole these old units and old townhouses. So we had to wait quite a while. So actually, I think one cycle or more than one cycle to reap the result of what we saw. And but now it's, I think these days we can see, oh wow, there was.
It actually works out, right? Yeah, because when you give yourself a decade, it actually works out, provided there is employment in the area, there is population pressure, and there's scarcity. Scarcity can be both in terms of supply, but in our case, it was more price, right? It's very, very hard to get a property of that price. In fact, anywhere in Australia, in that quality. But these are things that we can't actually see when you're actually buying it, right? You can only see it hindsight, and this is the reason why when you have a mentor group, they bring the years of hindsight to the equation so that you can make these decisions, right? From a loans perspective, because we're talking 2014, was it easier to get loans, or was it harder to get loans? Also considering that you're new migrants still.
Yeah, those days was much easier. So I remember, 2014 up to 2015, we still could get loans and we can negotiate. We could negotiate and we get good deals. And then I think some policies changed. And for us as well, actually, because we had at the time, so I think 2016 was it? Yes, the twins were coming, and then we needed a bigger place. We needed to go to a house. So actually, that was a very hard decision for us at the time, because we were going. So we were happy to, at the time, to purchase more and more and increase the portfolio. But because of the family need at the time, we decided to actually go and purchase a house for ourselves to live in. And we knew that pretty much it's going to put a brake on what we are doing. And it did.
For a couple of years.
So that's why I think for a few years we couldn't get back to market. And but so there were few years that we couldn't purchase anything because the serviceabilities and we couldn't get a mortgage. And I remember we were going from one mortgage broker to another one. I'm not. I can't remember how many mortgage broker I went to at the time. And we couldn't. But then luckily recently, I think there's some changes happening. In
2014, 2024, we're back to the market again.
And that's because obviously equity is grown in the properties, and then we also interest rates changed, rents went up as well. So it changes the picture that the bank sees, right?
Absolutely.
So you're in a forced consolidation because you've actually bought your home, which is not a bad thing to do, right? Because even though it puts the brakes on investing, we are investing for comfort in life, right? And comfort in life means that in your case, buying a bigger principal place of residence, or moving out of the unit and getting into a home, so the kids have some space, right? And so how did the portfolio unfold from there? So after you bought your home, you were out of the market for, I think, from 4 years. And then how did it unfold from there?
So then for the first few years, as I said, because there was a COVID as well, so it was a sort of a multiple situations and the things that was happening. But then immediately after COVID, there was some changes. The property that we had, so one of the houses that we had was going very well, the Lake Illawarra one, especially during the COVID, because people are moving to those areas for working from home and all. So that one was growing. The properties at Queensland, there was no sort of the prices were not going up. No changes for those few years. And then the property at the Penrith one, the unit at Penrith, I think they still were waiting to see it actually to reach its potential. But then immediately, I think it was 22, 23 when the Queensland ones
it started taking off.
And probably we're going to touch on that. That was one of the mistakes that we did, because the property was on hold price-wise for a while. As soon as it started to get up, so we get deceived by someone to sell our property, one of them. So we sold one of the Woodridge properties. It was it was last year, actually.
It was last year?
Yeah.
We're so regret.
Having said that, because by the time we sold it, it already was double the price that we bought it. But now, these days, every single day, I'm receiving calls from agents. Actually, I just received a call right now. I saw an agent. They keep calling me for one of the properties at Woodridge, and they are offering 500s now.
And how much did you sell yours for?
300?
348.
348. Ouch.
So painful.
But that's hindsight, right? So and let's touch on that. So when you sell properties, right? Murphy's law is that it's going to perform much better after you've sold it. I've done that in my portfolio. In fact, I was summarizing the properties I had sold during just before COVID to cash up. And I'd sold a few properties in Victoria, and I sold a few properties in New South Wales. And when I now look back at those properties, they're double what I sold it for, right? So long as you're selling something for a purpose, be it paying down your principal place of residence, giving yourself a buffer, and you're not selling out of panic, it usually serves you, right? Because I'm a firm believer of, you shouldn't be holding properties forever. Each property's got a purpose. There are some properties that need to be sold down at some point in time to dampen the negative gearing effect, to give yourself some breathing space. There are other properties that they've done their job, and you know that it's going to go through another long cycle of no growth or minimal growth, and we could relocate the money elsewhere, provided we address the tax consequences. So it's okay to sell, right? But in your case, it was a little bit premature in selling. So what prompted you to sell?
I think at the time, why did we sell it?
No,
those when we were going to sell it, we had 1,000 reasons. Now that we realize it's wrong, why did we sell it? None of those reasons make sense now.
Because I believe that for a long time, the price for that area was the same, and it started to rise up, and then we were just, it's a time. So now it's good. And in that moment, we upgraded our own property, residential place, and it was exactly in the same time, and we were just thinking, okay, it will give us a little bit more relief to be able to buy our own property and make it bigger. And I believe that the good things, once we sold it, we knew that it was a big mistake. In the same day we realized that, oh my God, we did a really big mistake. And I believe that it was in the time that we both aired. So and then I was just going through the Facebook and emails, and I received email from Bright Property, and I saw that you were just talking about the area that you're gonna go for auction. I called Shahin. We have money, and then we can call Victor and go for that, buying another investment property. We are glad that we did a big mistake, but we bought.
We replaced with a better property.
With a better property. So, this is something that, to be honest, still once we are thinking about that Woodridge area, the property, it's not nice, but we changed it with the better one, which is.
And I remember being at the auction with you too. And that was good fun in terms of playing with the auctioneer and ending up with the right number. And this was a rough and ready house, and this was probably one of the first few properties that you'd actually seen before you actually purchased it, right? So, was there any difference in the decision-making process, given that you'd actually physically seen this property as opposed to the Queensland properties?
Not really, to be honest.
Really. Okay.
So,
by now you had a lot of experience under your belt as well.
To be honest, probably. When we saw the property, no, to be honest, I can put my hand on my heart. No, in the decision making of going and purchasing it, there wasn't probably. But having said that, maybe if you go for inspection at the beginning, you may see some other things that stops you from buying. Maybe.
Yes.
So this one's so that can be a factor, but for us, no, to be honest.
And even for ads, we haven't seen ads. Once we bought ads, then we went, because we came to it was a couple of property.
Yes.
We went for the auction, you were there. We came a bit late and we didn't have time to see the property. And we said, okay, couple of property, we're going to leave it with you, Victor. Whatever you can, we have this much money and then go ahead. And then once we signed the contract, then we went and saw the property. Even for heirs, I remember we went in the area, but we haven't seen the property.
So how much did we buy? That was 600 something, wasn't it? 705.
Yeah, 745.
745. Yeah. And this was 2 years ago, roughly.
It was 1 year ago.
1 year ago.
Yeah.
And do you know what the property is worth now?
I think it's almost 900 or at least 100 on top.
Yeah. They're sales of 900 plus in the same street.
In the same street.
Okay.
So this was a rough and ready property. We did have to do a little bit of a tidy up on it. Tenancy wise, how long did it take you to find a tenant in there?
It was pretty much immediate, so it was very quick because the property was quite ready. There was some paintings.
There's a little bit of touch ups and all that sort of stuff.
So I think you did. I went there actually a few times after it because there was a painter and things to just make sure everything's okay. But then I think 1 week or 2 weeks after it, we rented out. And now actually we are in the process of
building
a
granny
flat. So the designer is now designing a granny flat in there.
Yeah.
And so that was a good purchase.
So we've bought properties in Queensland. We've bought properties in New South Wales. What's been the next step after that? Have we bought anything else? Have we bought in different entities?
Also, we bought property in Victoria as well for our self-managed super fund as well. So
no, in terms of there hasn't been. So I think the last one that we purchased was the Airs.
Airs itself,
So we first bought the one in Victoria for the self-managed super fund, and then the Airs was the last one that we purchased.
Well, let's talk about the self-managed super fund, right? So obviously it's a slightly different process with a few companies that need to be set up and all that. How were you able to navigate through all of that in terms of gaining the knowledge first? And then looking at seeking advice and the purchase itself. So how did that process get started?
Establishing of your questions about.
Yes.
So in establishing of the self-managed super fund, I think we did a bit of an overkill, to be honest. It's a lesson learned for us because we went to to our main sort of accountant and the things to set it up for us. Now that I'm looking back and asking the other guys, we spent a lot of money on establishing a self-managed super fund.
Yep.
I think it cost us maybe 10 grand more than others because, for example, we were going to because for our property management and all, we go on a top the scale accounting, right?
Yeah.
Probably for setting up a self-managed, you don't need to have that sort of a thing. So the services that they were offering was top of the what do you call it?
Top of the range.
Yeah. But we didn't really need that. So we spent. So I'm just talking to my friends now. They're setting up with less than 10Ks or less than 8K, 5Ks. But we have spent more than that. So that was a bit of a things that we, as a sort of a lesson learned. But overall, so we had some accumulated amount of the self-managed super fund. Having said that, during the COVID, actually, we had to use up some of our the money that we have collected because there was a period that I was out of job, and so we had to use that. So we had a less super fund as we should have. But still, so as soon as it reaches the amount that we could buy something, I remember that we had that discussion. I'm not sure whether what we with yourself or with Steve at the time that they said, is it the time that we can go and do it. But with you guys, it was very straightforward. So because we knew that we wanted to purchase a property, self-managed super fund, because one of the things that it became very expensive for us. They were giving us so many other options. This much you put on the this shares, that this much on that. But we knew that we're gonna do property investing. So all of those things was pretty much wasted. And so we knew that immediately, as soon as the self-managed super fund is set up, we're gonna come to you and ask for a new purchase, which we did. And it was, I think, I'm not sure how many months you were looking for it.
I think it was about 2 months. That took a fair bit of looking, because obviously, we need to get it 100% right, like anything. And particularly with the self-managed super fund, it needed to be a relatively neat and tidy property as well. So that way we're not eroding too much of the fund in terms of unnecessary repairs and maintenance. So plus also the market was changing at the time as well. It was harder to inspect the properties, and it was hard. There was a lot more of momentum within the market. There were a lot more buyers in the market as well. So it became really important that we didn't overpay for it. And then obviously you've also got properties for your family as well. We recently got a property for your mum as well, as part of her retirement plan, given that she's a recent migrant here now as well.
It was really good decision for us. And then so my parents, they sold their property overseas and they got money here. And we wanted to buy a property for them with good income. It was really good decision, and I believe it was really good purchase, because it's double income and it just like giving really good money to them, and it is really good. So, and I believe that in future, in a couple of years, then they can sell the property as the area
goes through
up.
so
they can sell property and come.
The Woodridge impact needs to happen over there for that to happen, right? And again, this all comes back to, now that you've got the runs on board and that you can guide your family and your friends through the process, but it is still managing expectations of family, managing and trying to give your knowledge to them. Trying to give 10 years worth of knowledge in 5 minutes is very hard. And that's what I personally find with my family and my friends, is it's very hard to impart that knowledge. And it does take a lot of patience as well to coach everyone, all the stakeholders, so that we're all on the same page, right? And I know that we had several phone calls and conferences together during the buying process, because you also want to get it 100% right, because it's your parents. So if you were to do all of this again, if you came today as a migrant, what would you do differently?
For the first place of residence, we were a little bit in rush. We were not. Now we got a good money from our unit, and we could start this journey. But if I came back again, I'm not buying unit. This is my first lesson. And also maybe I want to upgrade my property to the house. And we were just going. This is something that now I'm just thinking, if I just come back, I do. What do you think?
Yeah, the same. To be honest, I don't think that we have done anything wrong, I would say. So in terms of the options that we at the time, we made the decisions based on the information that we had, and the information that now we have is, because those days, early in the country, for example, so we just wanted to be somewhere close to the train station, somewhere and we were not used to be living in houses as well. We were, because overseas we were living in apartments. So that was a sort of easier choice, easiest decision for us to make, to go to a unit. That was probably the main reason. Probably if we come again, we may have to live in the same unit, because we need to be close to train stations and things. But financially, yes. So with the price of that unit that we bought that day, we could have bought a house at Kellyville, for example. But the prices now is so much
huge difference.
Huge difference. But in terms of the using a buyer agent and the investment journey, we're doing the same thing. Probably now we have more knowledge. We were challenging you more for some of the properties, but still we were doing the same thing. We were doing the same thing. I would say.
Yeah. And so if you met someone today and you needed to give them advice as to how to go down with this journey, what would be the first thing you tell them?
In terms of the property investment, you mean? So, yeah, I always say, actually at work also, I would say, and I think I gave your number to many of my colleagues, because I always say that go and use a property, a buyer agent is going to help you a lot. People have some objections on that, that because people see that, okay, so we need to pay this much in advance and things like that, or can we trust, can we not, this sort of things. However, seeing us, it's much easier for them to make a decision. But always what I tell them is, so we could purchase the properties when I was in a meeting, right? So I remember those days that we had those 4 or 5 properties in a year. I remember, that was the same Kate here was calling me. So there is a property. So I'm going to send you an email. Are you interested? And said, I was sending it to Salvia. I'm in a meeting. I don't have time to look at it. Can you look at it? And Salvia is always more
busy at work.
Now more careful and just more reliable than me to check things. And then, by the end of the day, we were giving a go ahead. We had cases like that. So that's, however, I can see nowadays, so there are friends of mine, so they wanted to buy a investment property. They know that, for example, a train line going to go somewhere and they want to buy in that area. But every week they go and just to visit the properties there, inspect the properties there. They can't make it. There's properties that they like, they can't finalize it. There's too late, it's overpriced, things like that. And I always tell them that, okay, it's much easier for you if you have a trusted, definitely that trusting is very important. If you have a trusted sort of a party and a team that can do it for you, it's worth the money that you pay.
And also buying properties, I believe that building portfolio is teamwork.
Yes,
absolutely. Having the right agent to help, mortgage broker, and the good accountant. This is something that, to be honest, we learn. Not only just buying the property, just make sure that they can get the loan. So, and then we are working with accountant every year, last 14 years. We need a good accountant. This is the team working to build a good, to be honest, portfolio. This is something that always we are talking with our friends and telling them that you need to have a team to go ahead and be successful.
Well, there you go. And let's talk about managing the numbers, right? So obviously you've got quite a few properties under your belt. In fact, I'd see you as the top 1% of property investors in Australia. How do you manage the portfolio? What's your process? What do you do? Who manages it to begin with first? Is it you or is it you?
Probably on day-to-day basis, it's me. So I'm the one who's receiving the emails and responding and managing day-to-day. But Salvia always having the bigger picture, giving me hope. So she knows the price of every property right now. She knows how they play, but it's that's how we sort of. Between us, we have shared the things. So, for example, if there are in the areas the property has gone up in the renting, Salvia comes to me. Having said that, we should have that, and we always have, I think, that that yearly sort of review with you. But in the middle, also there are many times the Salvia told me, okay, the Marston's property, the prices has gone up. So, and she gives me that sort of a heads up. That it's happening, but on a day-to-day basis. So I have a tracker, so that I track all the finances for whatever I spend in terms of the accountant sort of things and the expenditures and all. And I also have another tracker for the same thing as you guys shared with us, and the ones that we have shared with you on the, I think that's a online portal that we have. So we know the price of all the properties, what we purchase, what is the loan, when the fixed rate's going to expire, when the insurance is going to expire. So I have all these things, and I try to be on top of those.
Okay. And how much time does it take you on a say weekly or monthly basis?
Probably half an hour.
Half an hour. Okay. Yeah. So pretty much hands off.
Yes.
It's not life consuming. You've got a lot of properties, but it's not life consuming in the sense that it's totally taking up your time. It would be in fits and bursts, right? So obviously that'd be there's a saying in property that the bad luck comes in threes, right? So you get a hot water system blow and another property that needs a big maintenance and so forth. But in reality, it's only taking you half an hour to manage a dozen properties.
So and sorry, in that one of the lessons that we had at the beginning. So there was some of this cost of the properties that I was paying myself. For example, some of the bills were coming to me as well. Now what I learned over the years is I have outsourced everything to the property manager.
Yes.
So the first things, if you buy a new property, and one of the first thing I do, I send an email to the council or just asking. Sometimes actually the property managers are doing it proactively, and just ask them to do all the costs you do it. Just let me know, and I just look at the statement at the end of the month and see how it goes. I think that's one of the lessons learned that I had. I think I remember from those seminars that we had. That was one of the things that you guys were saying always. But yes, sometimes we don't listen as much. But
you have to go through that process to really understand, right?
You overlook one or two bills and then you realize.
So what I do in my portfolio is I get the property manager to pay for everything except for insurance. This is more of a control thing than anything else. And with the insurances, I set up alerts to make sure that it gets renewed on time. Because that's one of the things that I found out the hard way, is that if there is a change of process in the property manager's office, or if there is they lose a property manager, there is a chance that your insurance might not be renewed in time, and so that's something that I do myself. But apart from that, everything else is done by the property manager, because that's what they're paid to do. Right? So record keeping is fairly easy as well, and you've got someone to do all the work for you, and you're managing the manager, right? And hence half an hour of time rather than hours and hours of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got a couple of questions in the end in terms of if the two of you look back at your journey, what is something that you would do differently?
In this journey, you mean with you guys?
Yes.
Probably I would be attending more of your seminars, I would say.
So more education.
Yeah, more educations. Another thing was sometimes I think I have now I think at this stage, so we know actually which type of the properties we like better these days. And so probably we would have been more directive on that thing sometimes. I know that, so at the beginning when we have that sort of a strategy session, so we followed that strategy, which was quite successful. But maybe sometimes we had more say on, so let's do this, not that. Sometimes to make it more personalized for character. For example, we are now in the process of building granny flats on the properties. I wish we had more of these properties so we could do, because we wanted to I think at some stage we wanted to have that sort of a cash flow to pay everything down. I think that's everyone's target, so to pay them and have more sort of unencumbered properties. I think earlier days we were like, okay, we wanted to go 10 properties, sort of a thing. Sometimes you have all those sort of
it's a journey, isn't it?
Planning and the things and okay, goal setting and all. But at the end of the day, you get. You don't have that ending thing in mind as it should be. I think now when if we start right now, we have a better view of the end because we always need to have that end in mind when you start at the beginning. Which one of the good things about working with you is because you have experienced that and you can give us that sort of advices from the hindsight. But still for us, I think we're going to be having that sort of a view now, and probably there's going to be some
changes.
Some small changes. We're going to be having.
Now, if someone is just starting out today, what advice would you give them? And then the second part of the question is, if someone's already got a portfolio, what advice would you give them based on your experiences?
Based on our experience, so for sure we're gonna ask them to have, as I mentioned, a strong team. The beside, and the other thing is, as Shahin mentioned, that buying a property to be able to make it as a double income. So if there is double income that we bought for our parents, which is perfect. If not, it has a
you create the double
double income. So something or maybe double like house or granny flat or something, which is just amazing.
And for someone that's already got a portfolio, they've already started the journey, what would you advise them? What would you tell them?
Probably that was the main the lesson learned that we had for that property. Maybe at Woodridge that we sold it quite premature. So just wait for the full cycle. Just be careful when you buy the property, which where in the cycle you purchase in, and also for your exit strategy, be clear at when exactly you wanted to sell your property, when you want to sell it, see exactly, do some research, understand where in the property market you are. Probably at that time that we thought we are at the peak of the market. And so we had some actually. So as Salvia said, because we were trying to relieve ourselves as well. So probably even now we may still we're selling that, but it's very important to know that where you are selling your property. So in the cycle, make sure that so probably may have gone up, but maybe you're still at 10 o'clock.
True, 12 being the peak of the market.
So wait and get more advice. And I'm not sure, I think probably when we were selling it, we didn't talk to you guys as well. I'm not sure why. Maybe that was about the time that Steve was sick. I think maybe that was during that time. But so due to some reasons, we didn't get proper advice. And so when you want to sell it, get that advice. Have always the exit strategy for every single property that you wanted to purchase. Know, okay, what is your plan for this property? What do you want it? And in the portfolio, I know that sometimes you can't always buy houses, because you need to build up the portfolio. You need to get some for cash flows, some for the capital growth. But at the end of the day, if you know why you buy the property, for example, if you work with the property and just understand why you're buying this property, what is the reason for buying this specific one, why you're not going for a house, why you're going for a...
How does it fit in?
Exactly. So understand that. So later on in the process, you can educate yourself. When your discussions, you know that why you did that, as opposed to 5 years later, get back to it, the same issue that we had sometimes as why we bought at Woodridge. And that was a question that we always asking ourselves, was it right, was it wrong? But suddenly when that sort of a cycle reaches the point, then you see
the penny drops at that time.
Exactly.
So. And maybe another thing that maybe back to the previous question that you had. So once we started this journey and we started to come to your seminar, there were people that they had 30 property, 40, 50, and we were just thinking, oh, it's too late to start.
Yeah.
And always you were just saying, still there are some areas that you can start from there. It will grow.
Yeah.
And we started, but we were just thinking, oh, we could start.
We've missed the
maybe
boat, yeah.
we missed. But now I'm just thinking, it's not late. Whoever wanted to start, just they have to start as soon as possible.
Yeah.
For sure, there are some area, lots of situation has been changed. Like it's a little bit difficult, but still there are lots of area that people can start with.
Yeah.
And it will grow. So the advice that I'm giving to my friends always is just start as soon as possible.
Yeah,
just start it.
Yeah.
It's not late.
That's right. You know, there's a and the reason why I remember this because I won an award at a forum for regurgitating this saying, right? And the saying goes down the lines of, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great, right?
Yes.
And so portfolio building is in the same way. If we look at it from today's market, yes, of course, it's much harder to get into the market compared to when you two started, because the deposit requirement is higher. However, the affordability is there as well, so it just means that the journey may be a little bit more slower in comparison to if we're looking at the same metrics in terms of areas. We may not be able to buy a 171k property. It may be, and it is, a 500k property, which is the $171,000 property back then. So once we come to grips with that, to say that, okay, we need perhaps 3 times more money to get started, the journey is a little bit slower, but the result can be the same, given enough time, given enough planning. So, you know, that's a great testimony and great feedback for clients that are listening, and a huge accolade to you too as well, starting with less than 10,000 and getting into a dozen properties. That's no mean feat. Salvia and Shahin, thank you for sharing your story, truly from the bottom of my heart. And now it's time, I actually promised them lunch, so they'll come and do this podcast. So now it's time to go for lunch. We'll see you again next month.
The information featured in this podcast is general in nature and does not take into consideration your financial situation or individual needs and should not be relied upon. Before making any investment, insurance, tax, property or financial planning decision, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you. Guests appearing on this podcast may have a commercial relationship with the companies mentioned.